Thank you for being with us for our film notes and music notes. Before we go into our conversation, let's have a word of prayer. Gracious and most merciful God, we are grateful for the creativity and the imagination that you place within our spirits. And we ask that you would hold each of us, that we may live out the call and the purpose that you have given to us. May your hand be upon all of those who are vulnerable in our community, and that we may learn to be your hands and your feet, that we may have mercy in one hand, grace in the other, and a heart of love deeply connected to justice. We thank you and we love you, and we offer this prayer in the mighty and wonderful name of your Son. And the people of God who love God may say, Amen. We thank you for joining us for our music notes and our film notes this day. I'm excited that we have the opportunity to have a conversation with none other than artist Common, who has an incredible discography. He is currently on the television series Silo, which is on Apple TV and has been renewed for 2 more seasons. If you have not checked it out, I highly recommend Silo if you love a mystery, if you like science fiction, and you like your television with social commentary. None other than Chicago's own Common plays the character of Robert Sims, who is evolving over the 2 seasons thus far. We're interested to see what's going to happen in season 3 with his character. But I'm excited to introduce and welcome to our film notes and our music notes none other than Common.
Peace. What's going on, brother? Oh, Reverend
Hey,
Foster.
how are you?
I'm
It is great to see you. And you are currently in London, correct?
yes. I'm in London filming the 3rd season of Silo, which you spoke so great about. Thank you for that introduction. And I know it's sincere, but yeah, I'm in London enjoying it, man. It's great to see you.
It is wonderful to see you. And I have to say, I've been watching your career since the very beginning. Been looking at how you have taken the roots of Chicago, the lessons of your family, and molded it in a unique way where there is a spiritual center to what you do. And I wonder if you could share with the audience how you go about the creation of your art.
Well, yes, my foundation began and begins and all through the middle begins with God and my relationship with God. And that relationship was cultivated and none other than Trinity United Church of Christ, which I still am a member. And I mean, my childhood was shaped by sermons by Reverend Jeremiah Wright, and then at a certain age, I got the sermons by Reverend Otis Moss the third, like, and um and so that was the foundation. My spirituality, as I learned, was about building my relationship with God, having a foundation and watching that, or not watching it, but seeking for it to evolve and seeking for it to grow. So that meant also, like, I've been around brothers from Islam and brothers, that deal with other spiritual practices. I just chose, unapologetically Black, unashamedly Christian, as my pathway. And say that because, like, my artistry has been always based in that. Even when I didn't know that was the core of it, it was. Like, when I first started writing, I was just writing, wanting to be an MC, and just wanting to be dope. Wanted people, my friends, to say, "Oh, he can rhyme. He's great." Um, but it's God's blessings and gifts that He gives you, especially creativity. I feel like creativity is one of the most divine expressions of God. God being
Mm.
the creator of the heavens and earth. we are creators ourselves, right? So I to tap into that and find that the divine in my creativity, it took some time to understand that's what it was. But the more and more I understood that, it came out in my music. And then how it showed up in my acting was one of my acting coaches, God bless her soul, her name is Sandra Seacat. She really is the mother to to the acting coach I use, Greta Seacat. Um, Sandra said, man, do you know you can heal people and inspire people through acting
Mm,
and,
mm,
and storytelling? And that gave me a new life and a new purpose in my acting that allowed me to find even the characters that you think are not good. Like, I got a lot of people that come to me about Sims on Silo, like, man, you the bad guy. And I'm like,
yeah,
it,
I'm praying for your character, man.
yeah, yeah, but it's like people, one of the things I think about acting that has helped me is from a divine way is it gives me more understanding and compassion to people who not always doing the right things, but they dealing with issues and problems, and you kind of get an understanding. It's I won't say it's no different, but it's like going when I go visit people that are incarcerated, hearing them, I get to understand them in a different way. Um, Walking in the shoes of a character who's not doing good in the world, but
Mhm.
still a human being gives you another understanding. That's how divine it goes. That's how deep it goes for me.
Now they've expanded your character starting in season 2, which I love what they've done because we get a chance to see your character has a family and is deeply loyal to
Yes.
protecting his family. And now I don't know what's going to happen in season 3, but it seems as if they're setting your character up for another expansion and some more depth in your character.
Yes. I will never tell you what's going on in season 3. I want you to watch it. I got I got my team always like, man, tell me what's happening here. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you. Cause I like the joy of especially if someone is into the show, of them discovering and going through the process. And I always call and check. Well, how'd you like this episode? And it's fun to know that. But I will say, it's no spoiler in this that my character is evolving, and you seeing
Yes.
more depth in him, as you said in season 2. And I think they actually, as writers, have shown more depth in a lot of the characters in season 3. So I'm excited about that. And as an actor, you always want to go places that that is unexpected and show the dynamics and roundness of who we are as human beings. And initially, first season, when I read Sims, as I was reading the scripts, he read as what we would call a heavy, meaning the
Right.
guy that's enforcing things in the silo and doing things. The he's the guy, the muscle.
Yeah,
But
you were the bouncer. You were the
yeah,
bouncer of the silo.
the bouncer. Keep bouncing, yes, man. But then it eventually, as we got to see, he had a family. As you got to see in season 2, like he's starting to question certain things that he's
Yeah.
been dedicated to for
Hmm.
all this time. And that's a real struggle for human beings. Like, to that we question certain things that we've believed in all our lives. Sometimes we get to a point and we're like, wait, is this really true? And like, well, am I doing the right things and have I made the right decisions? So it's good to see, because it's boring for me as an actor, um, to just do the same things and just be the muscle. It's nothing to that. But I always, Otis, brother, just try to, if I got 2 lines in the film and
Mm.
and I'm playing a gangster, I'm still gonna do my best to have this whole story be told in these lines, or these scenes where I'm silent, and show the human being.
Well, the humanity that you demonstrate, what I love about your approach to acting is here you are playing a heavy in season 1, but it was very obvious that there was this human core that we want to know more about Sims. And I think that's a testament to your acting, but you
Thank you.
also demonstrate that in your art, in hip hop. I've said to people that when I think about your work, I can hear Gil Scott Heron. I can
Mm.
hear the Last Poets, and I can feel the kind of searching of John Coltrane. So
Ooh.
when I hear you, I'm hearing those ancestors, and I'd like for you to share with the audience your influences and those you're drawing from when
Yes.
you are on stage, when you are writing lyrics.
Well, for sure, you name one of my favorite artists of all time, John Coltrane, and it's actually the 60th anniversary for Love Supreme,
Mm,
which yeah, I got to go hear a band here in London do a tribute for the 60s. That
mm,
this album, A Love Supreme, was John Coltrane's spiritual transformation, many say. Like he was coming into his own and being rebirthed as a spiritual being. And
mm,
that album came from that. And this artist has been one of the most inspiring and influential artists in my life. I played this album for 30 years now, and in each
mm,
moment it speaks to me in different ways. It's like for me, it's like when I read the Bible, it's certain, which I read it daily, like, and it's certain times when I'm reading certain scriptures, they speak to me in new ways, in different ways
mm,
than I felt or understood it, you know, 7 years ago, 10 years ago. So this music and John Coltrane's music has so much depth and so much love in it that I discover new things when I listen to it, and I love listening to it in different places. Other artists that have been heavy influences on me have been Stevie Wonder.
mm.
Like I love Stevie, man, and I mean this. I think he's, when you look at like one of the greatest like artist that ever could be, because has
Yes.
written, played, written, produced all these incredible songs, man. And they're not just songs that are just hits and people sing them. They got a soul to them, and they
Yeah.
timeless. And you can, when I see generations, like his music, just like Coltrane's, will be here for as long as it's a planet.
Mhm.
Other artists, KRS-One from Boogie Down
Come on.
Productions, yeah,
Come on.
like that was that the
The bridge
teacher.
is over. Come
Come
on. Come on.
on, man. Come on. Come on. Oh, don't get me
Come on.
started. And this band I'm wearing right now, a Tribe Called Quest, who
Yes.
yes, who they just were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I actually, got to be a part of the tribute for them. But I've
Mm,
been listening to their music lately so much. And I grew up listening to it. And they were the ones that made me feel like I could be myself as an artist, as a hip hop artist, and still be good and be dope. Like you didn't have to
mm,
be tough, even if you're from the south side of Chicago. You might not be a guy that's like, okay, I'm the street dude. You could be, just a human being, like this artsy, or into different things. I think they showed the depth in who we are as black
mm.
people and in hip hop. And then everybody from Nina Simone to Fela Kuti,
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh, come
So
on.
all these musicians, these musicians really have inspired me and influenced me in so many ways. D'Angelo, all these great ones.
Now there is a person, I know that you were roommates with this individual. We had a conversation about him. One of the greatest producer artists that has helped shape hip hop, none other than Jay Dilla.
Yes.
If you could share with us how Dilla helped shape not only your sound, but the sound of many others, because you're working with Pete Rock now, who
Yeah.
also was shaped in his relationship with Jay Dilla. And some people may not know. He's sometimes, for those who are outside of hip hop, don't know how influential this gentleman from Detroit was,
Yeah.
James DeWitt Yancey,
Yes.
better known as Jay Dilla.
Yes.
So give us a little bit of insight into the Dillalude in your
Yeah.
life.
Well, Jay Dilla is a producer that many will deem as one of the greatest musicians to ever create and produce in hip hop. And
Mm,
I agree. I'm in agreement. Two we not only two are in agreement, a lot of us in agreement that Um, he created a sound that no one had heard really. It obviously
Mm.
had influences of Tribe and James Brown and some, some of these jazz records he listened to, but he created something. And because I've never been like technically producing on a drum machine, um, people explained to me how he would like take music off of the time signature where the click just goes
Yes.
1 2, and would give it another feel, like where it felt live, in many ways, and it had a certain hump. We call it the hump. That we just, the way we move,
Mm.
he created that with this music, and was just created bass lines and songs that, I mean, like samples, but they felt like live. Somebody was playing a live bass, and it was just so soulful
Mm.
and connected. Just beautiful music. He influenced so many producers from, like Questlove or the Roots to Pharrell to, like, I walked in the studio with Jay Dilla in Pharrell session, and Pharrell
Wow.
like got on his knees and bowed. Oh, this, and I've been in our front room on Mother's Day where Kanye and I were about to take our mothers to Mother's Day brunch. And Jay Dilla gave Kanye a record of
Mm.
with some drums on it. And that later on that day in the studio, Kanye act like he received the greatest gift. Like he was like, Dilla gave me these
Mm.
drums. So that
Mm.
I'm mentioning that because the reverence of great ones was always inspired by Jay Dilla. Jay, like once he came into the game, he changed it. And it's
Mm.
funny. It was an article that I was read that really moved me because they mentioned four people that changed music throughout music's history. They mentioned Beethoven, they mentioned Coltrane, I think they mentioned Charlie Parker, but then
Mm.
they mentioned Jay Dilla. They named four
Mm.
people, and I was like, wow, that is special, man. And the more I go, like I go to different countries, and you see like Japan loves Dilla. Like you'll see just like all these different. So he was my roommate. I got into his world. Like I met him at Q-Tip's house in '95. We started working together around '97. It really culminated when I went out to Detroit with the Roots while they was getting him to do something for their project. And I said, man, Dilla, we got to work. Um, like for real on the album. And that's when we started working on like Water for Chocolate. We found out we had a lot just in common. He became my brother, and we were once roommates. And a little known fact is I actually gave him the name Jay Dilla because he
Really?
was yeah,
Okay.
he was JD, but people were mixing him up with Jermaine Dupri. Like they would be like, okay, we say JD, JD, JD. People would always think Jermaine Dupri. But I
Okay.
used to just call him Jay Dilla because in Chicago we used to add like Rosh Illa, my Miller, so I'd be like Jay Dilla. And I think that's how he got it. At least I'm gonna claim that, but I believe that's how
Okay.
he
Okay.
got
I
it.
love that.
Yeah.
Now, share with us, you have an incredible discography. I mean, your music will be placed in the musical repository uh, for eternity in terms of people examining what you have done and how
Okay.
you have done it. Give us 3 songs that are near and dear to you. I mean, special, just some, and give us the story behind why they are special to you.
Okay. Give thanks for you saying that about the music. I really received that. And well, the first song that comes to mind is "I Used to Love Her." It's
Come on,
really
come on.
it's really special. Um, it's special because, man, it's like I had just come from releasing an album, and it wasn't really like received the way I wanted to as a hip hop artist. I
Mhm.
thought I would come out and people would know, yo, it's Common Sense from Chicago. And it wasn't that. Like I wasn't getting a lot of radio play, wasn't getting, mixed show play that much. It was a real grind and just, climb up the mountain. It's going up the mountain, right? But I gathered myself, and that's when I started listening to Coltrane and digging deeper into
Mm,
my spirituality. And I Used to Love Her was one of the songs as I started to evolve that I wrote. I wrote it once the idea came, I wrote it really quick. And I usually would take a lot of time to write. So just that in itself should let me know it was a divine expression that I was just allowing, the creator to come through the music like the way he always should and does. That being said, that song too, it changed my career in certain ways because
mm.
people started to recognize me like, yo, this dude is a real artist. He's an MC. Like, no, that song, it was no songs out like with that type of concept.
The
It
metaphor is brilliant.
met the metaphor. Yeah.
It's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
It's just
No, thank you.
that's a
Thank you.
classic. It is an absolute
Thank you.
classic.
And the last thing about that, I can remember being in the studio with one of my best friends, Rasan. He would come to the sessions, and my friends would come to the session, and I was rapping the song, and he was really not like we were young guys, so he was like,
Mhm.
"Why is he doing this love song?" Like he kind of, you know, he like, "What is this?" Like, and as soon as I said the last line, I just remember him grabbing his mouth and being like, "Oh," his face like, "What?" Like, because I said, "Who I'm talking about, y'all, is hip hop." So the fact that I could go through that song and you believe I'm talking about a girl, but as you would rewind it and check it, you could see that I'm really using the metaphor of a woman
Talking about hip hop.
to talking about hip hop. So that was definitely one. Okay, I'll go quickly to the next one. The light is it has to be,
Mm,
but because um it really, man, it expressed like me and Jay Dilla's connection in certain ways, just
mm,
musically. Um, I think in hip hop, I've been someone who's created love songs and consistently, and men and women, still respond to them. And I'm bringing that up because at certain points, guys when they're younger they feel like, oh, I don't want to hear this love song, but people have respected it and loved it,
mm,
and it was the first. Oh, this was the first um time I had ever performed, and young black girls were like singing or knew who I was.
mm.
So it was a real breakthrough. I remember being at a summer jam in LA, and I was like, because they were all coming to the fence like after I did the light, and was just like, I was like, wow, this is reaching a whole new audience. And the purity of it and the fact that it was written truly with sincerity and love and just using my imagination, but also just using my relationship at the time and or at least the idea of that relationship really made the song very soulful to me and beautiful. And like to this day, um, the fact that people will tell me, man, they got married and their first song they played was The Light, or, you know,
Mm.
I've had somebody at one of my shows write a note to me and ask me if I could stop doing the light so he can make a proposal to his girlfriend.
Really?
And yeah, so yeah, so it's been some great experiences with that song. So that one, I would say that. Now I'm trying to the third one, man, I'm gonna say Glory, man. Glory is
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Glory is
mm.
something that I really feel like was a song that, and I could have went deeper on my catalog, like to some of the boom bap joints, but I'm thinking of songs that really like I wrote and they also like took me some places. And
Mm,
Glory obviously was a song that was inspired so much by the women and men of the civil rights movement. And Otis, you might have heard this story already, but
mhm,
we weren't really slated to do a song for the movie. Like they weren't asking me to
mm,
do a song or anything. I just was in a conversation. I was talking with Derek Dudley,
mhm,
former manager, one of my best friends, talking with Derek, and I was asking them what they were doing because I had already wanted to do a song for the for
right.
the for the film because I'm acting in it and I just was so moved by the experience. But they didn't want a song from us. Like, so they were like, they were projecting to get some other people. But I remember talking to Derek and I said, as I was talking, I said, man, let me call you back. Cause it hit me. that I wanted to do the song, and I wanted to call John Legend about it. And
Mm,
it was a breakthrough for me. And it's one of those moments where you gotta pay attention when God is speaking, because usually I wouldn't call my friends and be like, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" But I did. And I was like,
mhm.
"John, I'm part of this movie. It's very important. It's directed by this sister named Ava DuVernay." He was like, "Wait, I worked
Favorite
with
different
Ava."
name. Yeah.
Ava DuVernay, like Ava
Gifted,
DuVernay.
gifted. Ooh.
Yes, yes. So, and man, I called him, and he happened to be in Europe, in London. So we couldn't get together in the studio together. But I called him and said, "Look, man, they're not looking for a song from us, but I would
Mhm.
love for us to submit a song." And when we hung up the phone, I texted him three titles. Glory was the third. He said that sparked something in him. He wrote that chorus immediately,
Mm,
and went to the studio, sent it back to me, and the rest is divine history, divine. Like,
mm,
so that song, um, yeah. I mean, I just saw some kids and a pastor performing it, um, for, I guess, for Dr. King's birthday.
yeah.
Um, and I was like, wow, this song, man, is way beyond us. And to get to perform it on the Oscar stage, and win an Oscar for it, and Golden Globes, and like, man, this it was it's
I remember that day. We talked because, we prayed before you went out there. Uh,
yes, 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 we did. Yes, we did. We needed to. We had to. Man, I'm so glad we prayed. Like, yo, do you understand that performance to this day?
mhm.
People are like, man, that was one of the greatest Oscar performances.
Mm, mhm. But the way that it comes together, and your again, the trajectory of your career, we call it sacred serendipity, that God
Yes,
moving in unique ways,
yes.
for you to do incredible, incredible work. And finally, I want to ask this: what is next for Common? Let me put it this way: not just what is next. What do you have on your vision board, that is your prayer that one day you will have the opportunity to do or participate, or create?
Um, New and exciting and really incredible TV projects
Mm,
and films, and theater. Those are things that I really am inspired to do, um, and to work with directors that I think are brilliant, like that I think from like the Christopher Nolans to like,
no,
yeah, I love Christopher Nolan, is to like the David Finches,
mm,
to I actually love Tarantino. I know he did his last film, but
mhm.
Barry Jenkins is, I think, is brilliant.
Barry Jenkins is gifted.
He is gifted. Steve McQueen, like some of those
Yeah,
directors.
you may.
I really, that's some of my visions, to be and to have really powerful roles in those
Mhm,
films, is the visions and prayers that I have. Um, and it's other things like being able to affect our communities in the best ways, and actually have practical things of bringing love and health and joy to our communities in the best way possible, the most grounded ways too. Like,
mhm,
I know it's like I want to connect with our people, and just on every level. So that those are some of the visions. Um, Theater is for surely
mm,
on the vision. Like, it's got I got it. I want to do more plays. I love doing plays and producing plays and television,
mhm.
and is also some of the things. Yeah, voiceovers. I love that too. Doing
Oh,
voiceover.
okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, man, it is always a delight to talk with you. We're so proud of you. I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I'm going to put you on the spot because
yeah.
you are one of the best freestylists in the world. So, if you could close us out, if you were to freestyle a prayer for young people, what
Mm.
would it be?
A prayer for young people, if we ever put to the test, is to understand, young people, that we all are blessed. Blessed with things, even if we come from the hood. Just like the scripture said, all things are working for our good together. I know God's love is forever. So we can put it and understand if you say never, that's not really logical. Because with God, all things are possible. Understand, we need the modules and cells within our bodies to understand that we have these things that are godly. And wherever we go with the truth. We go to be expressing who we are as the youth. And this is what I understand because I can say I flake this and take this because wherever you go, you understand if we accept the kingdom like the children, then we the greatest. The greatest among you will serve when it comes to these and the words. So I hope from somewhere that my soul is heard to yours. Open your mind and your pores. Open the doors like church when it's open. And I'm hoping that my mind will keep on floating to this new quotient. And this is what'll be, no division. It ain't even about just the religion. It's about the precision and truth and conversation with the Most High. And I'm telling you, keep a close heart and a close eye on them, on the truth, and be the living proof. And this is what I'm saying. You don't even need a booth. You can just record and use your own voice. But to get close to God, really, it's your own choice. And this is how it is. These words I spoke, I say a prayer for us right here on Music Notes.
Man.
Amen.
Rashid, man, we thank you.
Thank you,
None
brother.
other than Common, one of the great artists in this nation who is transforming the social landscape and blessing people's spirits and hearts. We thank you. And I'm praying for Sims in season 2. Okay, I just want you to know, for those who, for Silo, I'm praying for your character, man.
Thank you, brother. We need him. He need him. All right.
Thank you so much, my brother.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you, Otis. Appreciate
this
you,
is
brother.
tremendous, man. This is tremendous. Thank you. And thank your team. We just really appreciate them so very much.
Thanks to your team. Yeah, thanks to your team. Much love, y'all.
Much love. Take care, brother. Peace.